and welcome to Tarmac. I'm Dave.
And I'm Matthew, and I'm a happy chappy today because behind us here is a bright yellow Volvo.
That's right, it's the Volvo EX30, Volvo's biggest, or actually smallest SUV. It's big on performance and actually quite big on style too. Let's have a look at this. Not only is this Volvo's smallest SUV, but it's also got their smallest carbon footprint. So they've used reclaimed and repurposed materials wherever possible. In terms of actual minimalistic design, what they've done is they've got 25% of reclaimed or recycled aluminium. Also, same goes with the steel and plastic, it's only 17% reclaimed or recycled there. So they really have tried to make it as environmentally friendly as possible. Looking around the front here, it comes with this nice sort of, they call it a close shield across here, and these lights here are actually Thor hammer or Thor design, but they're LEDs, so they're they light up. I'll see if I can show you that now. Under the bonnet here, we have what is commonly known in the trade now as a frunk, so a place to put your stuff. And what's really good, if you come in close here, you've got a picture of the EX30 and also what I like to call a reindeer, but it's obviously a moose. But I just like to think, yeah, reindeer is probably better for me. In terms of size as to whether it's going to fit in your garage or actually in your pocket, it's 4.2 meters in length and actually 1.55 meters in height. So look, even somebody my size can look right over and look at, actually, oh look, the wool shed. More on that in a while. It's also got very small overhangs, or actually the overhangs are very the same, so, or equal, there you go, that's the word I was after. So it really is quite a compact SUV. The wheels themselves, they're 20 inches, so they're very big, and that actually adds to its sort of its flavor and its sort of character. It really does look quite ready and robust and ready to go. And what we have here, we've got the moss yellow, and that color has basically been inspired by the lichen growing on the western side of Swedish borders, which I thought actually my geography which would probably be, I don't know, Austria on the west hand side, but anyway, what do I know? This is two-tone, so you've got actually a blackened roof, black door mirrors here, and actually they're frameless, and a nice sort of blackened out sill down the bottom here. The doors themselves, they're actually quite not difficult to close, but you've got to really make sure you want to close them. And so somebody like Matthew, who's very gentle when he closes things, always leaves it open. And round the back here, you've got EX30 badging, just in case you didn't know which vehicle you're in. It's an EX30. Matthew got very excited about this, but you see the sort of digital light frame across here. In many other Volvos, they're all in one. This is now in a shape like that. And actually, round here, we'll see if we can show you the Volvo sign or the Volvo name lights up here. Obviously, you've got a nice roofline spoiler, blackened out glass. The Volvo now is in name across here, and because you've got the name of the vehicle on the side there, they've actually got rid of it down the left-hand side here. Unfortunately, it doesn't have a kicker tailgate, but a little button push there, and what you then get open to is 318 litres of boot space, which in a nice Nordic style, you can actually hide your Thor hammer or whatever it is, because it's double levels, and if you drop the seats down, it's around about 900 something litres, so plenty of space in here for whatever conquering you want to do, or I don't know, putting your LPs in there. Anyway, let's see what powers this. Behind this flap, you get access to the 69 kilowatt hour or 64 kilowatt hour usable battery that's actually fast chargeable. So it'll actually charge 153 kilowatts chargeable rate. So it's very quick. And once fully charged, it will give you 445 kilometers of range. So it is pretty full on range. And because this is the dual motor, I forgot to say that earlier, it's the dual motor, so you've got motor on the front, motor on the back, you've got 315 kilowatts of power and 543 newton meters of torque. What's more, it's actually 3.6 seconds 0 to 100, so that makes this the fastest Volvo out there. The fastest, you gotta love that. Anyway, speaking of things that are pretty quick, Matthew's inside and he'll show you what's going on in there.
It's funny that Dave called me quick because, well, what Volvo have done with this interior is, for when life gets too quick, this interior is the place to be. It's the calming environment that you sort of expect from a Swedish car like this one. And in particular, for me personally, as a Volvo owner, I feel like the EX30 is almost a return to form of the old school Volvo that many of us know and love. Well, the interior, you get 4 options to choose for your calming environment. You can choose between breeze, mist, pine, or indigo. Each one brings a different color combination, a different set of materials, and well, you get the idea. The one we have in this particular car is called Mist, and it's meant to mimic the lingering mist on a foggy morning in Sweden, basically. So make of that what you will, but the whole idea is that it's meant to be calming, and the tones are sort of meant to be neutral and peaceful and whatnot. Speaking of the materials, now Dave earlier said that this car has the smallest carbon footprint of any Volvo ever made, and a big credit to that is in its manufacturing process, right down to all the raw materials used. Now in the interior, we have these seats. As you can see, the texture and the color is quite unique, and that's because these are actually made of a wool blend, and the wool coming from New Zealand sheep as well. So how about that? It's a bit of a homecoming for these seats specifically. The seats themselves are, I've got to say, really comfortable, really ergonomically friendly, very easy to do long journeys in them. They're also heated, both driver and passenger, and I will issue a warning with that. The heated seats work excellently, so be careful about selecting number 2 and 3 on the level when you want some warmth on your back. The other thing is you can set the car to automatically turn on the heated seats when the temperature drops below 7 degrees outside. So there you go, another top tip. The temperature drops below 7 degrees. You can also set the steering wheel heater to come on automatically, so that's an option as well, and I think especially useful if you do live in one of the colder markets where this car is sold. It's not just the seats where the sort of sustainable fabrics and materials have been used. In the door cubbies as well, the lining in there is of the same wool blend as the seats. And across the dashboard here and into the doors, you have this sort of flax fiber blend, which makes up this panel across there and just breaks up the black dashboard. So I do quite like that. It's not just there though, because these sort of plastics that are underneath, while scratchy, yes, have a really nice texture to them, and they are also all recycled. So there you go, there's more environmental friendliness from this savagely quick Volvo, I should say. It's not just all eco-friendly. Volvo have put a lot of thought into this cabin as well. The center console itself, you have cubbies in here for various things. You can slot out this cup holder like so, and you can just fold this entire thing away into the central armrest. It's also got the window switches up here. You have some more storage space down the bottom here, again lined in yellow to match the outside of the car, and accordingly, depending on the color of your car, these little bits and pieces will change color accordingly. You've got a wireless phone charger down the middle there, and also 2 USB-C chargers down there. Now the doors themselves, you've got really generous sized door cubbies there, soft armrests, and the key thing to note is that there is no speaker in any of the 4 doors around in the car. And well, that's because of something ingenious that Volvo have done with using a sound bar across the front over there. In the middle here is a 12.3-inch infotainment screen. As you can see there, Volvo have arranged it so it looks like a tablet or smartphone in terms of its orientation. The screen itself is very interesting because what they've done is gone fully Scandinavian with the interior and gone as minimalist as possible, which means that this screen then becomes the sort of point for pretty much everything in the car. Starting from the top there, you have a view of your EX30, you have the gear, and then once you're in motion, your speed will show up on here, as well as the car's position on the road. Below that, you have your range indicator in both kilometers and battery percentage. And then moving lower down, you can see here, you have a view of Google Maps, as you can see there. And that just tells you that Google is inbuilt into the system. You have a voice assistant available, as well as several apps also. Below that, the screen will show you whether you have a phone connected and your audio input as well. As you can see, you have 2 options there, either Bluetooth or radio. The other key things of this car, you've got a 360-degree camera view, which is activated by that icon just there. As you can see your EX30 in space over there and sort of keeps going round and round. You can also open the trunk with the button here, or open the glove box by pressing that button like so. Below that is your list of key shortcuts. You've got, look at that, your hazard lights are there. You've got your app tray like so. Open it up and you've got, as you can see, Google Maps, the Play Store, Google Assistant, Spotify, and YouTube as well. You've got your audio settings here, and then a quick shortcut here for air conditioning, as well as your heated seats and steering wheel. Your AC menu is also here. Note that it also has a particle detector or a filter for the interior to make sure that the air you're breathing in is nice and clean. And then if I fold that away like so and move on to the car menu, you can see there several more shortcuts show up, including this, which is the ambient interior lighting. If I click into that, you have 5 different modes like so. So you can have the Northern Lights or Nordic Twilight, Midsummer, Archipelago, Forest Bath, or nothing. So as you can see, the agenda was very much to make this a calming interior and a really nice, peaceful place to be. Back to this, the drive mode screen again, and you'll note a shortcut here to engage the one pedal drive, which you can activate just like so. You can also flick next to see your car status, which tells you things like your total trip and other things. And in settings here, this is where all the sort of magic happens, if you like. But in particular, where you want to be is in this driving setting. Now, it has Volvo's Pilot Assist as standard, and it includes lots of things like a lane change assist, steering assist. As you can see, you can set the time interval as well to vehicles ahead for your adaptive cruise control. You can also engage one pedal drive here, as well as the steering feel, and then the one you really want to engage, which is the performance all-wheel drive, which we'll show you in a little bit. Also worth noting that it does have a assist system, which informs you if a vehicle or bicycle or something is approaching on the side of the door that you are about to open, and it will warn you and limit your ability to open that door so you don't have any unintentional accidents, if you like. Back to here, you can also go dive into the controls menu and set a whole bunch of settings according to your preferences, including the mirrors and wipers and car modes as well. Worth noting that it said towing in there. This EX30 can tow a maximum of 1.6 tons braked. So there you go, something else to note. And the other thing is the sound. Now this gives you access to play around with the soundbar, which has 5 speakers inbuilt across the front, and you have a subwoofer of about 1050 watts as well. So it is a really powerful audio system, and it makes you feel like you're in a concert hall in the car. It's quite amazing, actually. Take a look at that. This is the driver's view basically, and you can see there is nothing going on up here. No screen, no digital dashboard, nothing. There's not even a heads-up display there. All you get is looking at this eye view monitor, which basically makes sure your eyes are on the road and not looking at other things around the road, whatever that might be. Taking a step back, and you are sort of welcomed with this squarish steering wheel, which Volvo say gives you a really sporty sort of feel. It does feel really nice, admittedly. Good solid thumb grips there and a flat bottom, of course, but the squarish feel does take a bit of getting used to if you're just used to round wheels. Other thing to note is you've got 2 sets of buttons on the steering wheel. Your left side controls various menus and things, as well as speeds for your adaptive cruise control. And then on your right side, this cluster of buttons here are used to control the audio, or if you want to adjust the mirrors, they also double up to adjust the mirror sort of angles as well. Worth noting that, as you would have seen so far, there is no gear shifter in the middle. That's because it is up here on the right stalk, which means that there is no wiper stalk as such. Instead, the left side stalk doubles up as both the indicator stalk as well as the wipers with buttons on the side there. It also is your headlight setting, so your high beam, all of that stuff. Everything is on this left side stalk. Now, the EX30 at the back is not exactly the easiest car to get in and out of. As you can see from there, this pillar sort of comes down here and kind of makes a really odd opening to access the rear seats. Now that's for good reason, of course, because it's got Volvo's SIPS, or side impact protection system, which is effectively a high tensile steel cage around the cabin area. While that is super protective and very strong in the event of impacts, it does mean little things like getting into the back seat is a little bit more difficult than a normal car. But once you're in the back here, it is a really nice place to be. Of course, the wool blend seats are really comfortable, nice to touch and feel. You've got some nice door pockets, you've got seat pockets there behind both the driver and passenger front seats. And if you take a quick look up, you've got a big glass panoramic roof as well. Can't see the northern lights out of that at the moment, but regardless, you do get a really good view overhead of the sky. It's a nice place to be back here. The other thing I need to remark on are the really nice door handles. As you can see, they're metal units and styled really well. A lot of my friends have remarked about their sort of admiration for the style that this car brings, and the door handles is one of those key points of engagement there. Lastly, I haven't covered the fact that the carpet's actually made from recycled fishing nets. So there you go, some more environmental friendliness from Volvo. Alright, so we're in the EX30, and Dave is probably, even though this being most likely the safest car in the vicinity, Dave is probably in the most dangerous position of anyone here, because I'm in the driver's seat, as you can see. So, ta-da!
I know. Talk about taking Volvo back decades.
And it's not just the scariest place to be in the passenger. I, as the driver as well, am a little bit frightened, because this thing, its acceleration is just savage. 0 to 103.6 seconds. What does that feel like? Well, let's have a look.
Oh.
And that was uphill as well.
with extra weight in here. It's actually great. The sensation is just what you'd hope for in a performance, and oddly it's not a performance looking vehicle, but it's, you know, your innards start to move around and all that sort of stuff. Your big breath in and things. It's good, even and actually amplified by the fact that Matthew's behind the wheel. So yeah. Oh.
And it's funny because Volvo, while they have dabbled in some performance stuff over the years, are not really a brand that you think about firstly when you think about a sporty car or you think about straight line speed. But then with the electric revolution, what they've done with the EX30 is given you the option with this dual motor version to have not just a safe family SUV that's Scandinavian designed and peaceful and whatnot. The fact that it in a straight line will leave many things in the dust.
Yeah, you've managed to upset a few people today, haven't you? Not just me.
And that's correct. And that's part of the hilarity of this car. I love, especially in this moss yellow, this Volvo SUV. I've been driving it around and it makes people smile, it makes people look, but then you get onto a motorway on-ramp and just the clueless look on people's face when they just get absolutely surpassed by this thing, it just makes me smile. It makes me grin every time.
But you're right, and then there's the practicality side of it. The thing that I forgot to mention on the boot is what will fit in the back. Yeah, I don't know. It's very funny. I'll see if I can show you the design on the boot. But there's so much stuff you can fill in that 320 or 900 litres of boot space there, and also hide your stuff underneath. So it's a practical side, and the door handles and the places in your door here and all these different cubby holes. It is a place where the family can put their stuff, and you can actually put a family in here.
Absolutely right. I mean, all those numbers on that we talk about with the boot storage space, all of that stuff is all well and good, but then you take a look at that little infographic and it tells you, okay, a bag of golf clubs will fit, or a baby whatever push chair thing will fit, or
I think they're called prams.
Or prams.
Yeah,
But that's part of the fun of this car, is all those little things like the moose in front, the little EX30 there.
Reindeer. Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry, the reindeer.
But I mean, I've driven this a little bit as well. Actually, guys, it's hard to get the keys out of this Volvo driver. But what I like about it is it's very comfortable on the road. It's not too firm a ride and not too soft. So what you've got is a drive that is confident in the corners as well as it is smooth on the road. So the suspension is set up very nicely.
I have been driving it around motorway, around sort of town and that sort of thing, and it's been really comfortable to drive all throughout, be it pothole roads or sort of more sealed surfaces, just really well adapted for New Zealand roads. And I think that's part of the appeal of this car. It's so comfortable yet so quick in a straight line, but when the road gets twisty, it can still hold its own against faster things, let's put it, or more sportier things.
The thing that I dislike is the fact that there's nothing in front of me as a driver. This is a personal thing, and it's obviously because I'm older. Everything's on that side screen, so what that means is that with my old eyesight, I have to fumble around for things, but particularly the speedo. I kind of would have preferred to have the speedo in front of me, so I know when this small powerful machine is going over the speed limit. Yes, it lets you know, it gives you a little bit of a tinkle and tells you that you're a tinkle, I don't know. Anyway, and tells you're going over because it does have traffic sign recognition and all that sort of stuff. But I like things to be in front of me. I don't know. The screen is good, and I like the simplicity of it. I just would have liked that.
And honestly, Dave's not wrong there. While I am a big fan of this car, as make no mistake, I've shown already, I really like its style, its sort of personality, all of that stuff. But there are a couple of things that are really sort of have not been putting me off as such, but have annoyed me ever so slightly. And one of those has to be in the speedo, as Dave said. To have nothing at all in front of you as a driver, not even a heads-up display, is a little bit disconcerting. And it did take me a bit of time to get used to watching the screen in the middle to see my speed. But at the same time, don't watch the screen too much, because the car will actually flash up a warning and tell you to keep your eyes on the road. The other thing is the screen in the middle also shows you like your indicators, your headlights, gearing, everything is on there. So nothing at all in front of you as the driver, which makes it even more trickier to do so when you are wondering, whether your indicator is off, for example, or not, and all of that sort of thing. So it does take a bit of getting used to, let's say.
The pros way outweigh the cons. This is a very well put together, tidy, compact SUV that has nice approach angles, nice departure angles, big feet, and just actually the space in here is really good. Just the rear seats obviously do take a little bit of getting into, particularly somebody of my stature, but once you're in, there's plenty of room, plenty of space. And the other thing we haven't spoken about is the money. And it is, if you go for the two-wheel drive, it's around 74 grand.
That's correct.
In New Zealand.
74,990 for the two-wheel drive, and then if you add the extra motor to make it the dual motor, you up the price to 84,990. And basically then you really unlock that extra power and speed and all of that. But at the same time, you don't need to have that on all the time. You can simply turn off the performance all-wheel drive and you're back to sort of a more range-friendly driving approach, if you like. And
you found the range pretty good, right? So far, it's actually exceeded its forecasted range, which is good. And also, actually, performance-wise, you said that you're relatively comfortable with the two-wheel drive. For me, it would be gimme the two axle motors, but that's where we differ.
That's correct. I've had, obviously driving by myself, I've had my family in here, putting my foot down, and it accelerates away just fine, even in the more economical mode, if you like. But if you're not entertained by the speed and you like the atmosphere more, you can just turn up the volume, and that hum and Caden soundbar really just does its thing. I mean, I did wonder initially when Volvo came out with this idea of removing all the speakers from the doors and having a soundbar up front, what would happen. But I think in practice, it's actually worked out really well, and it gives you almost like a concert/theater feel when you're sitting in the car, which is just amazing. And this car in itself, right from that unboxing video when it first came out, the whole concept of it was cool, that Volvo redeveloped this or developed this car rather from the ground up as an EV, unlike the C40 or the XC40, which means they've been able to play around a lot more than with configuring it like so.
Mamma mia, that's fast. So there you have it, the new Volvo EX30. Two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, I don't know. The real thing is, what the name of the game is the fact that it's environmentally friendly, it's sustainable, it's stupidly fast, and the smallest Volvo out there, and yet still safe, even with Matthew behind the wheel. That's a big thumbs up.
I've got to say, I'm slightly biased, more than slightly biased, as a Volvo owner, but I just love this thing. I love its styling, its quirks, the sort of thoughtfulness that has gone into it, as well as completed with that moss yellow color. It's just been grabbing eyes everywhere. Whether good or bad, I don't know. Can only hope good. But all I can say is, gimme, gimme, gimme a fast Volvo.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.